Hey guys, I'm Messi from WoW Weekly and welcome to this Warlords General Rating Guide. Today we'll be taking a look at Gruul in Mythic Blackrock Foundry. This video will focus on the changes to the Mythic encounter, so if you don't know the heroic mechanics, check out our guide in the annotation. On Mythic you'll have to deal with a lot of damage and shortened ability timers. This means that everyone needs to bring their A game because it's going to hurt. Before we get into the actual difficulty of the fight, let's talk about what's new. On Mythic there's one new environmental ability. Every 15 or so seconds the furnaces around the room will breathe fire and throw flares into the room. These are big balls of fire that are easy to see and that you need to dodge. If you get hit by one of the flares you'll get a 15-second debuff that will increase your fire damage taken by 20%. This will stack if you get hit by more than one flare, so it all comes down to simply not getting hit and not standing in front of the furnaces. Other than that, let's talk Inferno Slices. This is what the fight is really about. You will still want to have two groups of DPS and healers to soak the slices. Each group will now take 2 slices though instead of 1 before the other group starts soaking. You will also still need to use the concept that we used on heroic mode, with whichever tank is soaking slices is not currently tanking the boss. You'll obviously use taunts before and after the Inferno Slices. You can cover the tanking with 2 or 3 tanks. If you use 2 tanks, it will mean that each tank will have to take 3 Inferno Slices before taking the boss. If you use 3 tanks, they each take 2. In both scenarios, the tanks will need to use both personal and external cooldowns to survive the slashes. If you decide to use 3 tanks, you would rotate them as follows. Tank A starts tanking Gruul, Tank B takes the first 2 slices on Group 1, and Tank C tanks nothing. He DPS's the boss and makes sure not to stand near Group 1 to not get hit by the slices. Once Tank B gets his second slice, he keeps Gruul and tanks him. Tank C will then take the 2 slices on Group 2, and Tank A should not get hit by anything. Again, after 2 slices, Tank C will tank Gruul, Tank A will take 2 slices, and Tank B will not get hit by anything. Rinse and repeat. When a destructive rampage occurs, rotate to the next set. One final change on Mythic mode is that Petrifying Slam will now petrify everyone except for the tanks. This means that you will need to make sure that everyone is 8 yards away from each other when they become petrified. As it affects pretty much everyone in the raid, we use a raid healing cooldown after the petrification to get everyone back up because the Infernal Slices will continue to happen. With the changes out of the way, there are a few other tips that I want to give you. The amount of healers you can use really depends on how good your DPS is. If your DPS can still make the enrage timer with 6 healers, then it might not be a bad idea to use that many for your first kill. However, 4 to 5 healers is the more appropriate number of healers you would expect for this fight. Using personal cooldowns for Inferno Slices as a DPS can really help out your healers. Using immunities like Deterrence to still soak a part of the slice but not get another stack of the debuff is something your healers will greatly appreciate. And then finally, the cave-ins are a big pain on Mythic due to the amount of damage that they do. So you do not want to get these on your melee and healers. To reduce the chance of that happening, as a ranged DPS you can stand in the back of the room when you're not being sliced. Inferno Slice still reaches the back of the room, so it means you don't always have to stand on top of each other. Do note that when you're being sliced you definitely want to make use of healing sources such as Healing Rain, so don't be afraid to move forward. If you liked this rating guide, please comment, subscribe and click on the like button. If you would like to keep up with when new videos come out, but you don't have a YouTube account, you can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook at twitter.com/bmezzy or facebook.com/wowweekly. Also, be sure to check out our website wowweekly.net, where you can find written content as well. For now, I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.